Taste of Dragons Gaming Podcast. We eat sandwiches and play games. Taste of Dragons Gaming Podcast. A podcast for everyone's taste.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of Taste of Dragons, the Toddcast, the video game podcast that all you ring bearers listen to. And this week, life is strange. Well, I mean, it has been for like the last 2 years or so. I mean, it's been a while. But this week, it's a game. The news is splintering. And finally, we're awarding our favorite moments from the Game Awards. And as always, my name is Brian.
My name is Troy.
I'm Amanda.
I'm Hassel.
And I'm Joe.
Hey, everyone.
What up?
It is that time. Welcome back, Hassel.
Thank you. I'm glad to be back. So what's going on with you guys?
I don't know. We're just doing a podcast
Yeah.
like we normally do.
Talking about video games.
Having a good time.
Oh,
What about you?
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah, how
video
about
games
you?
are so cool.
I mean, so cool. They're like
Yeah.
the coolest.
I do have a little bit of a story to go ahead and tell you guys. It's a quick 30 seconds. Here we go.
Okay.
Hit us.
I walked into a comic book store, which is about 7 minutes from my house this over the past couple of days, and I found that there is a Witcher comic book series.
That's right.
Did not buy any
And
of
they're
them.
good.
Yeah,
and Witcher,
did
the
not-
thing that you are a professor at. You're
Right, exactly.
further-
So
yeah.
I felt like I needed to go ahead and buy those, but my order from Moe's was ready, so I couldn't really spend the time to see which ones I needed.
And you can't let that quesadilla get cold.
No.
Well, yeah, exactly.
you can't have a Colsadilla.
Get out of here, Brian. Just walk right out the door.
Well,
right now.
I'm leaving again.
At the time that we're recording this podcast, the Witcher television series comes out tomorrow.
That
season
means
2.
it's out to you listeners right now.
Yes.
You already know what
Yeah.
happens.
Stop listening to this. Go watch that, and then come back. And
Wait,
tell
no.
us
what
Hang on a
happens.
second. Hang on. No, finish listening to this. Then go watch it. Yeah.
No, it's totally go watch the Witcher. Come back. We'll be here.
And then forward all your questions to Hassel, who is our
Right,
bona
yeah.
fide Witcher expert. Right, Hassel?
Yeah, go ahead and send all your questions to Hassel MV, as in Victor, at witcher.edu.
At .edu.
Witcher.edu.
You sprung for the .edu, man.
Woo.
Hassel, one of these days I'm going to have you publicly admit that you know nothing about The Witcher on this podcast.
What are you talking
I'm
about?
going to get
No.
you. I'm telling you.
Only
Right
reason
now.
why
Fair
I had to go
warning.
with a .edu is because the .gov was already taken.
We're gonna do this bit for long enough that Hassel's just gonna, through osmosis, be an expert at The Witcher. And he's like, ha 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 ha! Everyone knows a ghoul and an a-ghoul aren't. Oh no!
He's like, actually, Troy, in the School of the Earth sign, it's like this. Oh, God.
Oh,
That's the wrong sigil. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, guys.
but not today, apparently.
Not today.
No, definitely not today.
But you know what it is today?
What
a
is today?
question that is being given to us by Rhythm Bastard.
Ooh, he's the person who made our theme song.
He is.
Ooh.
That sweet song at the very beginning of this podcast episode. And he asks, what is the most niche reason you've ever bought a video game?
Ooh, does,
So,
does he give an example?
Yeah, so his example was he bought Saints Row 1 because it had a Aquabats song on it.
Nice.
And he just wanted to specifically support that band and
That's
listen
perfect.
to it while playing a video game.
And you know what? That song may be the best part of Saints Row 1.
One, yes. That's not bad. That's not bad.
I think it might have been 2017. Mine's kind of recent.
Okay.
Tekken 7 Fated Retribution came out. I think regular Tekken 7 was out 2 years earlier. Anyway, this was the home version of it, not the arcade. And I am kind of done with Tekken. I used to play a lot of it as a kid with friends, but I don't really have anyone who plays Tekken anymore, so I don't buy them.
Yeah.
This one, however, for this home version, said that if you buy this, there's a way to unlock all of the old cutscenes, like the ending cutscenes from Tekken 2, Tekken 1, Tekken 3, all the games that I kind of grew up with, and you could watch them through this game. Now, this is 2017. I could just go on YouTube and watch any of these cutscenes, but something about sitting and playing Tekken to unlock those was enough for me to purchase this fully priced game. And just all I did was just whatever I had to watch these horrible old CGI late 90s cutscenes, and I loved every single second of it. And the rest of the game, I don't even know. I bought it just for those dumb cutscenes that I could get literally anywhere else.
But it was worth it, though.
It was. I was so into it.
What about you, Joe?
I am having a very hard time thinking of one game.
Because that's most of your games that you
Almost
buy.
every game I play, there is some stupid thing that I saw, and I'm like, well, I'm going to play that. Like Forza is a great example. I had no interest, really. I don't really care. Don't get me wrong, I love racing games, but I just, whatever racing game it is.
It's also an Xbox game as well, and you're like, we don't have Xbox.
And then there was piñatas. And you smashed the piñatas with your car, and they exploded, and there was confetti all around your car, and then you hit another piñata with your car, and it was done. So that's the most recent one that I can think of.
That wasn't just a game. That was a console.
That was a console.
You bought because of piñatas.
That was buying because you could smash piñatas with a car that came in Forza Horizon 5 and Game Pass.
Since then, have you been able to smash
Oh my God, it's
with
so
cars?
fun.
Fantastic.
I finally got
to
to do the first round of that, I think like a week and a half in. I figured out which arcade mode it was. It's Wreckage for all of you out there that like to smash piñatas with cars. It's the arcade Wreckage.
Perfect.
Nice.
That's awesome.
So mine is just going to make me sound like a garbage human, but I'm okay with that at this point. Because,
we all are. It's so fine.
Right, yeah. It's essentially what this podcast has come down to, just Hassel's garbage human fun time hour. By the way, Witcher.edu is actually taken, so I just purchased Witcher.tech.
Okay.
So we'll see where that goes.
Yo, that's good.
Yeah.
It's like only Witcher doing like tech help.
Yeah, it was only $4, so I couldn't pass up the idea.
Henry Phil's good at the. He built a PC. He could probably answer a few tech questions.
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
Have you tried Witchering? Because I'm assuming that's what The Witcher does. But anyway, okay. So back to the question. So for me, it was about a month, maybe a month and a half after my 18th birthday, and I used to go to school across the street from a GameStop. So my process after school was to go to the GameStop and see if they had anything in the used section that I could purchase or anything like that, and just kind of like hang out there for like a half hour. I didn't realize that this was around the time where Grand Theft Auto San Andreas came out.
Okay.
So I'm there, and I'm like hanging out, and it just came out, and there was one copy of the game left. I had no intention of purchasing this game. I was like, hey, I'm going to wait until like I can have the guide and stuff like that. They didn't have the guide available. So I had no intention to play this game, but there was this kid inside the store who I absolutely did not like. Like, I'm talking about one of those annoying kids, but he wasn't able to buy it because he wasn't 18, so he was waiting for his mom to come so that he can purchase the game. So I bought it.
That's a pretty niche reason.
You found one of the best reasons to buy a game. Spite.
Spite, yeah. Yeah, just full-on spite and revenge.
And you know what? You taught that kid a lesson in the long run.
Yeah, to be 100% honest with you, I have no idea.
But
I don't remember what that kid did. But I knew that at that time I just needed to turn his whole world upside down. He's probably like a doctor.
I bet
like
he
doctor
remembers
somewhere.
what you did, though.
Yeah. This kid's
That
probably
kid
like living the life. He's probably like super into like cryptocurrencies, like making a lot of money or something, and then you know.
You're actually his villain origin story, Hassel.
Probably, yeah.
You could be.
All right, well.
Hey, you know what it is. For myself, actually, it's actually also a Saints Row game, but it's Saints Row 4. And with Saints Row 4, I was not that I was tired of the Saints Row, but I was also already playing a whole bunch of other open world games, those types of things. I was like, all right, I think I'm kind of done with this type of genre for right now. And then they came out and it had a dubstep gun in it, which you could dance your enemies to death.
Such a dumb gun.
Such a dumb gun. And I remember seeing that and looking at Joe and going, "We need that. We need that, Joe."
Yes, that's the right answer. It's the right answer, Brian.
And so we bought the game and had a dubstep gun in it.
And the whole game is just one big dubstep gun.
It is
itself.
And it was also completely worth it.
Yeah.
That game was ridiculously amazing and ridiculous.
Yeah, the game's amazing.
So yeah, that was it. And I think we actually bought the edition that came with the dubstep gun.
I believe that's corrct.
Yes.
You had to.
Yeah,
How could you not?
We did.
Yeah.
We did. We bought the
Right.
collector's edition.
Yeah, there's no other version, in my opinion.
No. And then what about you, Amanda?
I don't know if I have like a very niche example.
Okay.
Not that I have profound reasons to purchase every video game I play, but I don't know. The closest thing I can think of is my favorite type of impulse buy for a video game is I used to, back in the heyday of GameStop, go to GameStop and go through like the $2 bin and look for
Classic.
B video games and just be like,
Yep.
I don't know, that's a dragon on it, I'll buy that. This one's got the armor of that guy looks cool and it says RPG on the back, I'll buy that one. So that's
Is
probably
that a potato? Sold.
the thinnest reason to purchase video games. But also that's how I found Spider. Is
That's
I just
how you
picked
find the
up
good
Down by
games.
Flame in like a $2 bin, and it was amazing. So I mean, impulse buys are sometimes good buys.
Your niche reason was cheap.
Well, yeah, kind of. I
Hey,
mean,
that's fine. That's
but
a
I
good
didn't
reason.
buy it 'cause-
Resourceful.
no. I didn't buy it because it was cheap.
Okay.
I bought it because they're normally just like dragon or witch or pretty color or like they're all visual box related reasons.
Yeah.
But it's hard to do that anymore. GameStop doesn't really have like the
Oh,
The
I
bits
mean,
anymore.
Yeah, I haven't been to a GameStop in years. I couldn't even tell you.
Having just gone Christmas shopping with my mother, who doesn't really understand
Oh.
digital content, we went into a GameStop and
Okay.
it was just like, oh, like my very short story. So my nieces have a Switch, and I was like, well, just get them like a discount game.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
like, the oldest one's 9, so just buy them a bunch of junk. They don't care. And we went in there, and I think the cheapest game was like $35, and I was like,
Wow.
Jeez.
and it was used too, and it was like, this isn't a good game.
That's
I would
also-
pay $35 for this.
That's also specifically because it is a Nintendo game. Nintendo does not discount their games at
It
all.
wasn't made by Nintendo.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I could get a game on the Switch e-store
yeah,
for
the
like
e-store.
$5
No,
or
you're
$10.
right. Yeah, that's fair.
So it's like, why can't I just they're I mean, for a brick and mortar store that didn't do it excellent, it wasn't a great experience.
Cool. So, but thank you so much, Rhythm Bastard, for that question. If you would like your question answered, please let us know in the Discord.
That's right. And also make sure to check out Rhythm Bastard online on Twitter, Instagram. He's at Rhythm Bastard. Awesome dude. On Twitch as well.
Yeah,
He,
and Bandcamp.
and Bandcamp. Yeah, good guy, good music.
Oh, yeah. As you know, because you listen to this podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Now that brings us to our next segment, which is Troy. What are you playing?
I got a question for you all.
Oh,
Okay.
I mean, I started with the question, but sure.
I'm going to question right
All
back
right,
at
fine.
you.
I see how it is.
Let me know if you. Wow, I can't. I had this "Are you ready to rumble" thing, but I can't find a good segue into it now that I've gone down this bit. So
No, you got to do it now.
yeah, I do. I just have to do it. Are you ready to empathize? That was it. All right. Anyway, I played Life is Strange: True Colors, and this is a narrative adventure that came out this year. I don't know, probably like September.
That sounds right.
Made by the fine folks at Deck 9 Games. Let me slide the premise at y'all. You play as Alex Chen, an early 20-something woman who is trying to reconnect with her estranged older brother in this sleepy, old-timey Colorado mountain town. And I gotta tell you, the town's a little more progressive than you think, Hassel. They got like a full-on bong shop in here.
Whoa.
Full on. Like, it is. Yeah, it's Colorado.
He did say Colorado. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. I mean, that's just
420
you
blazing?
can't have a game nowadays
They don't even
without
have
that.
to pretend that they're water pipes.
Yeah.
It's like right next to the flower shop, like with the old lady, like grandma flower shop, and then it's just like bongs are us.
I
For a
was really
second,
hoping the old-
second. Yeah, I thought you were going to say the old lady was running the bong shop.
I am so for that.
I called it a flower shop. She's
mean,
growing something.
I
in
really
there.
like that you said bongs are us because I immediately went to Animal Crossing and my collection of the water, like gyroid.
Oh.
They look like little bongs.
They do.
It's actually just it's a vase shop that they turn into it.
That's what they're telling the lady next door. Yeah, there's just a bunch of vases,
The
Mrs.
vases, yeah.
Mrs. Sally.
Oh, these roses would look really good in one of those vases that they sell next door. The what? The vases that they sell next door.
They have such a nice aroma from those nice neighbors.
I mean, it'll never work though because there's holes in the side. I don't know what they were thinking.
Must be for water.
They should really get more sleep over there. They're always
Yeah.
walking around all red-eyed. I don't know. Anyway, so this whole town's pretty cool. The game is all about you kind of milling about this town, meeting the locals, getting to know. You're new to town, so you're you're just kind of learning everyone and learning the places, learning the dives. I'm not going to spoil any story stuff. This is a huge story-driven game that has, as light and fun as it sounds, does have a pretty dark, mysterious plot that kind of underscores it all, and I don't want to spoil anything, so I won't. But in the end, you're basically this kid who grew up in foster care and is just trying to find a place that she can call home. Yeah.
Aren't we all?
Aren't we all?
How many times did you cry in the process of
Okay,
this game?
listen, Hassel. Okay, this game comes for your feels. Okay, this is a game. It's like all these games, all the Life is Strange. It's the whole franchise. There's like 3 or 4 of them with this title. They are all like these emotion panthers who are just like hiding in tall grass, and they can smell your feels. Yeah, they stalk your feels. And what's messed up is like these like emotional panthers. Like they let you know they're there. They're like, yeah, no, we're coming for your feels. We're not going to hide anymore because there's nothing you could do. You can't stop it. We're coming. Because, yeah, this game got the Troy Watery Eye seal of approval within, like, my first hour of playing.
Is that the fastest?
Probably. Maybe. I don't know. I never thought about that. I'll think about it. I'll let you know.
Okay, cool.
It might be.
I feel like Papers, Please might have gotten you real quick.
Oh, no. Papers, Please was funny.
Okay, I thought there was a
Yeah.
lot of heartfelt things in that one.
Yeah, towards the end, but at first it's just like, you're
Just
just
stamping stuff,
papers, and goofy people are coming through.
Beyond Words.
Ooh, okay.
It was fairly fast.
Beyond the page.
Beyond, I think. Yeah, Beyond the Page.
Beyond something like that.
Yeah,
Was that the
Yeah.
one where the people were actually writing the
Lost Words Beyond
Lost
the page.
Words.
That's
Yeah,
the game.
yeah.
I didn't mean
Okay.
Papers, Please. I meant Lost Words.
Lost
Yeah.
Words Beyond the Page. That may be the saddest game I've ever played. And it's only a couple hours long, so that would probably win the fastest. Like I had to walk away from the game because I was like, this is too sad too quick. I can't handle this. But this one is super sad. It's not even like intentionally sad. It's very sweet, but she has this cell phone, and if you like read her text messages, you get to put together what her experience in foster care was like, and her like coming out of foster care to find like being an adult, aging out of foster care. You kind of get that story, and just through that, I was just like, you've had it rough, haven't you? Oh, I hope this works out for you. And then it's kind of up to you if it works out, which is the hardest thing about all of these games is they're choice games. They're narrative adventures. They're choose your own adventure. You make choices. They put you in situations. I like to sometimes call these games I effed that one up, the game, because I do that so often. I'll choose left or right, and then I'll go down left, and then something happens. I'm like, ooh, I effed that up, and then I got to keep moving.
Thomas will remember this.
They will.
There's no like your finger on the previous page or like the
Nope.
previous part of the
There's
book.
no-
Like, I didn't mean that. I went to this page on accident. I'm sorry. I want to go
Okay,
back.
so you don't save prior to like the choice being made.
These games are smart now. They autosave. So like, yeah, they don't even let you save halfway through. Some games do. These ones don't. You just make a choice and you're stuck with it. You could maybe replay the whole episode again, but that may be like another 45 minutes to redo one choice. Some people do that. I just go, all right.
That's my choice.
But you said they did a pretty good job of like, if I choose a dialogue option, they'll say something that I think they would have said. The consequences may be aren't what I intended. But you
Yes.
don't normally get like
Yes.
I wanted to say this thing and then it sounded really mean, and I didn't want mean. I wanted jokey or something.
This-
So they have a pretty good. They're pretty intuitive though.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable seeing this genre progress, because back in the day, even going back to like the original Dragon Age, or Dragon Age is actually really good about that, but like Mass Effect, where you would make like you would make an option that didn't sound so bad, but then it comes off really gruff and angry, and you're like,
Right.
whoa, calm down, dude.
What?
I just said pass the salt.
Right.
You don't need to get up in arms.
I mean, Dragon Age never does that because it's perfect.
I
but
took
you're
it
right.
back. I took it back.
Mass
I
Effect
took it
is
back.
a good example.
You're right. I took it back. And so I've seen these choose your own conversation games progress, and now it really is nuanced, that they give you enough options that when you're navigating conversations and you choose how you want to respond, it feels like you're almost like co-authoring this tale. It feels like you're the one speaking. It's really great for role play and really helps kind of fill in your connection with the characters. This game's got a supernatural hook, though. A lot of these Life is Strange games have some type of supernatural hook, and this one is the empathy part. You are a psychic a psychic empath.
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 I'm going with it. I'm an empath. So what that means is you could feel people's emotions. So if I'm like coming up, if I see a guy who looks a little frustrated, I can talk to him and be like, hey, what's up? And he'll respond like, I don't really want to talk right now. But if I use my empathy psychic powers, I can like press in a little bit with my mind, and then like a little glow will appear around him. And in this case, it's like
aura.
purple, an aura. And it's like purple, and purple represents fear. And then I can kind of listen. I can hear one thought that is like the crux of their fear. And so if I like zero in on this person, he may say something like, oh, Betsy, where are you, girl? I can't find you. And then I can talk to him again and be like, oh, who's Betsy? Or like, oh, are you looking for a dog? I saw it in the record store down the street. I saw a little slobbery pug milling about in the folk section. And then he'll be like, oh my gosh, that's my dog. And then he'll run off to go find his dog. So you use that power to kind of lean in and feel and hear people's thoughts.
Okay.
To solve puzzles through the game, unravel story beats, relate to characters. And it does kind of start touching on some ethical quandaries of like, hey, this person isn't really allowing me to hear their thoughts. Should I do it anyway? And you kind of have to hold on to that feeling of will you, won't you do that?
For games that are usually very empathetic, they're also extremely manipulative.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I won't say any details, but there was one character who wasn't sure if I liked them or not. And so I saw they were disturbed, and I kind of leaned in to be like, what's wrong? And they expressed that feeling. And then I had the option to be like, oh, I'm going to answer this thought they're having. But in my head, Troy, I was like, no, that's really invasive. If I just come out and I'm like, look, I think this and this of you, which is something they were working through themselves, and I kind of do it for them, then that's kind of messed up. And this game leans into that. It leans into
that's nice.
There's certain parts where it's like there's certain parts where I walk away and I'm like, I should not have interfered.
Because the first Life is Strange was completely oblivious to that, and it was
Right.
definitely like like you would talk to somebody and you'd be like, oh, you don't even remember my name. It's like, well, your name's Jen, and she's like, no, it's Rachel. And then you like rewind it and you're like, oh no, your name's Rachel. And then she's like, oh, you remember me? And I was like, you are a monster person.
The first
But
Life
this-
is Strange, the hook was you could rewind time like 20 seconds, and that was
Yeah.
it. Or so yeah, you could totally just manipulate your way into friendship. This one is doing that a little bit, but there are consequences.
It's nice.
Sometimes for the bigger characters.
Yeah. So you're
Yeah, like the random person walking down the street, they don't care. But like the ones you're gonna see again, it may be a little much.
you're kind of like Professor X with consequences.
Right. That's what he needs.
Sometimes the subtext of video games is frightening.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, I didn't think about that. Yeah, the main characters.
Only main characters matter.
Only main characters matter.
Well, I mean, it's the main characters in your life. So really, it's you're looking that way.
Gentlemen, moving back to the
So what's great about these games is how they allow you to get really deep with the different characters. They have a nice cast that populate this small town, and it's a little open worldy. It's the first time this game has tried something a little more open world. You pretty much have this small town, and you can mill about. You can go to the bong shop, you can go to the flower shop, you can go to the local watering hole, to the park, and just kind of roam around talking to people, solving their problems and whatnot.
Those first three stores are all the same store.
Yep.
The watering hole, the bong shop, and the powder shop is all just one store.
It's the same.
It's the same store. It's not even.
It's a
Is
one-stop
the word
shop.
flower in parentheses? Are all their flowers kind of green and spiky?
Have a distinct aroma. But it's cool. It's a character-driven piece. Like if you think about like Mario games, they focus on jumping, and like Halo games, they focus on shooting. Like this game focuses on emotional character development. And sorry, Estelle, I don't mean to speak out of turn. I'm sure there's a lot of emotional character depth in Rocket League. I'm not saying that it doesn't. Mm-hmm. I was just trying to
Do you know the story behind the rocket cars?
Should I?
Well, I mean, one of the rocket cars just lost their parents.
Oh, geez.
And
no.
now they had to go ahead and compete in this Rocket League because it's
That's
like their
why.
last wish. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
with one of their deceased parents. Yeah, it's supernatural too.
Rocket Mom.
So like
Yeah.
the Rocket League cars are like Ava units.
Yeah, like they wanna win, but then like, are they gonna beat their dead dad, who also like this was his dream?
This is actually
Rocket-
this is the follow up to the Cars universe.
Right, yeah. Rocket
Which
League
got really sad in
season
the end too.
Yeah.
Rocket League season 4 is essentially The Lion King. So like
You know, if you also told me that Rocket League is where Cars 3 ends and where Rocket League picks up, I would take Cars as Rocket League lore.
No. Every time a car dies in the movie Cars, their heaven is Rocket League.
Oh my
'Cause,
gosh,
like,
Rocket
humans
League
get
is
wings,
heaven.
but cars get rockets.
Rocket League is heaven for all the cars that we've lost.
All cars go to heaven. Yeah, all cars go to
all
Rocket League.
cars go to heaven. This has to
this
be
is
lore
legitimately
now.
sad now.
Do cars die in Cars?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's like
Yes?
part of the main
I've
plot.
never
Wait,
seen. I've never seen a Cars.
spoiler
movie. What?
alert.
Cars 3 is all about the grief of one car that passed away. Yeah.
That is okay. All right, that's way more deep than I
pretty
would have
dope.
imagined a car movie.
I know.
That's awesome.
The third one made me cry.
Rocket League being the heaven of cars is actually kind of awesome.
It's Pixar. It's gonna be sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do
Fair.
sad.
True.
Like
You're right,
I'm just thinking over like Lightning McQueen like crying over the equivalent of like Uncle Ben, and I'm like, what? What happened in Cars 3?
But then meanwhile, Uncle Ben's doing sick wheelies up in heaven.
Up in Rocket League, yeah.
Seriously though, the idea of Paul Newman, who was the voice of the character, he passed
Yeah.
away in real life, so they actually made him pass away in the
that's
game as
kinda
well.
beautiful,
move on.
actually.
And the third movie is a nice honoring of him. The idea of Paul Newman in Rocket League heaven with his race car doing laps and knocking balls into nets makes me so damn happy. Oh my gosh.
It's
I
what
want
he
the
would have
Newman
wanted.
card.
It's what he would have wanted. Yeah.
Anyway, Life is Strange.
Is that what we were talking about? I thought we were just tangent.
So I can't talk about a Life is Strange game without mentioning the soundtrack. And this soundtrack kills, especially if you're into like early 2010s indie folk. It nails that genre. It nails that timepiece.
Very
Every single one of them.
specific.
Yeah. And it's all good music. Each episode, it's like drenched in music all over the place. A lot of times, these games, and this one included, will have you just kind of do what I call a sit and think, where either you sit down on a dock, or you like lean up against like a bridge post, or you sit in like a record store, and then they just play a full song, and your character just sits and goes like, huh, what a day it's been. And then you just like talk a little bit, and then you just listen to a song. And without missing a beat, I listen to every single song in those moments where they just have you sit and do nothing.
So you literally didn't miss a beat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice, Brian. All right, you can come back in now. We almost kicked you out.
Thank you,
earlier.
thank you.
Well, yeah. All right. You're allowed one bad pun now going forward.
Oh, just oh man,
Yeah.
one's not gonna work for
You
me.
gotta
anymore.
be able to choose one.
But yeah, it's got a lot of hits. I'm going to be putting together a playlist at the end of the year of all like the songs I've heard from 2021 games that I think are pretty dope on Spotify. And this definitely has a couple songs I'll be putting on there.
Nice.
According to the internet, their full soundtrack is also on Spotify if you want to listen to all of it.
Excellent. Let me tell you a little bit about the developers, Deck 9 Games. They are not the original makers of Life is Strange. The original developers, their name is Don't Nod. They're from Paris, I believe, and like back in the day, after they finished the first Life is Strange, Square Enix, the publisher, was like, hell yeah, this is a hit. Make another one of these with these characters. And they're like, oh, sorry, bruv, we're already on the next game. That's just not going to happen. And they're like, do you like mind if we like use the characters anyway? And they're cool enough to not be like, we're going to do it anyway, but they did ask them. And Don't Nod was like, yeah, sure, we're done with them. Yeah, fine. It's like, we've moved on to a whole different story. Like, you do what you got to do. And so Don't Nod was like, sure, have fun. And that's where Deck 9 Games come in. They were huge fans of the series, and they were tasked with developing a prequel to Life is Strange called Before the Storm. It's a good 3-episode little prequel, and I loved it because it actually has like playable D&D in it, which I was like, what? We're actually going to sit and play D&D for the next 40 minutes. This is fantastic. So they proved themselves worthy of the Life is Strange name, and they were given the blessing from Square and Don't Nod to make a game of their own. And that's why we have Life is Strange True Colors, and why it's not called Life is Strange 3, because it is a whole different company on their own different track.
Cool.
And it's why the games look aesthetically very different.
Yeah, this one looks the best of all the Life is Strange. They have the animation. Deck Nine has their own mocap studio within their headquarters, which is also in Colorado, where they place the game. And
Right
so,
next to the between the flower shop and the bong shop.
it's
Yeah,
just
right
this
in the
game-
middle.
Right, yeah.
indie game studio. I mean, they got to get the work done somehow. You got to get that inspiration. So the animations look really good. They're nuanced between your pals and the so-called villains in the everyone is just dialing in great performances. It's like a four episode arc, each one dealing with different themes and problems, and from relationships to family to grief to finding your place in this world, coming of age. It's a really special game, and I will spoil one thing about a mechanic. Just to tease people to get into that, they have an episode that is fully devoted to a LARP, a live action role play.
Nice.
And it's tied in with the rest of the story, so it all fits. It's not just out of nowhere. But for one episode, you are straight up LARPing, and they use the entire town with it. They
That's pretty awesome.
change everything. It's amazing. If there's any downsides, more like words of caution, I would say pace yourself.
Okay.
These are heavy games that put you in very hard ethical situations. And normally they're doled out once a month at best, like the last two Life is Strange. Like you could play those and take a break. They're giving you all the episodes with this game. So around the end of this playthrough, I was just emotionally exhausted, and I kind of wish I took a little break and recenter myself before getting back in. So word of caution if you hop into Life is Strange, pace yourself. Sandwich rating. If this was a sandwich, I would make it like an overstuffed meatball sandwich, and it could be veggie meat if that's your jam. But we're talking double meatball, tomato, mozzarella, maybe some provolone in there, extra sauce. It's the kind of sandwich that you pick up and you kind of look at and you're like, I don't even know where to start.
Yeah.
It's not messy. It's not falling over. It's just so big and packed. You're just I have to make a decision, but I'm stuck and I don't know how to do this. And whatever decision you make, you're going to get to the end. It doesn't matter.
I'm surprised there's no oregano in there or something, or some sort of herb.
Listen, it's double stuffed. Put some oregano in there. Put some, I don't know.
I have a question
Some
about
sage?
the bread.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is the bread the kind that is going to soak up the sauce, or is the sauce going to create it like a Grand Canyon in between the bread slice? Is it going to
We're talking
create that?
We're talking a multi-grain bread, so there's going to be multiple avenues for the sauce to kind of be sucked up. It's not going to be messy. It's going to be clean.
Right.
It's just going to be
It's weighted.
So
it's
Yeah.
weighted. It's got a heft to it. It's heavy.
like it.
But in the end, whichever choice you make of how to eat the sandwich, you will eat it. But in the last bite, you're going to be like, "Oh, I'm going to feel that later," because that's how I was with this game.
Nice.
I felt it way later,
Yeah.
emotionally.
Oh, that's great. So, but it's a good sandwich though.
Oh yeah, eat the sandwich.
Eat the sandwich?
It up. Eat it up.
All
And it
right.
has some pretty good DLC that is just about somebody in a DJ booth mixing and dealing with life, and they have a functional Tinder mechanic in the DLC. So I was on this Tinder. You play as this girl named Steph, and you're dating other women, and I was swiping left to right, and I'm like, oh, is this what this is? This is horrible.
Yeah.
I'm swiping everybody
it's
around.
terrible.
I like everybody, and they're mostly robots. And
I
get
approve.
You get into conversations with them, and you decide how you want to respond, and then there's you may go on dates off screen and whatnot. But I was like, oh gosh, this is weird.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
But cool DLC, and it ties in some of the events of Life is Strange 1 for
Nice.
those fans out there who are wondering what happened after that first game.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nice.
Well, thank you so much, Troy, for bringing us Life is Strange True Colors.
You betcha.
And now that'll bring us to our news segments. And this week, I'm going to do a little continuation from a story I told last week, which was about Final Fantasy XIV and how it's been having its issues with wait times and everything. Well, in case you're wondering, it has not improved at all.
Still waiting?
I'm still just waiting and hoping and
And
trying to
wishing.
get in.
And waiting.
And so even so much so that last week I said they gave everybody 7 days free game time that was, hey, hopefully it'll get better. Well, because it didn't, they're actually giving everybody an additional 14 days. So now a total of 3 weeks free play time for everybody who's already in it.
Brian, you should just hold on and get a full year, man.
I'm trying.
Get a full
I'm
year
really
free.
trying.
Make it work. I don't know.
I know we talked about this a little bit last week about like the servers and like why don't they just buy more servers? But I actually heard in the interim that they did try to buy more servers, but it's just one of the millions of things that were affected by the quarantine. They're in that place where it's like I can't get the metal to make the thing that makes the chip that makes the thing that makes the server. So like. Fine, I guess. I guess you're doing everything you can.
Yeah. And it's also so bad that they actually are pulling the game for sale from all their
wow.
partners.
Otherwise, you're just going to get more people trying to get it.
Longer queues.
That's exactly
and
what
stuff,
it is. So they're like, all right, take down the game for a little while, and we'll put it back up eventually. But
when your game sells so well, you have to pull it off the shelf.
yeah, that's right. Not just pull off the shelf,
That's
but you
hard.
also have to. They're also not doing any new marketing for it as well. They're like, nope, we don't need more people playing this. We're fine because what are we going to
can't
market?
handle it.
Well, also, where are we going to market a new game that you can't buy?
It's going to save them grief for people who pay full money and then can't get into the game.
Well, I mean, except for the grief of people that were like, "What? I can't play it because I didn't buy it the first week. I was saving my money and being reasonable. Now I can't play the game. I was literally looking forward to."
Yeah,
I think they're gonna get
Hopefully
grief
they'll
either
get
way.
back.
Have we?
yeah, they'll get into it.
But they
Have
get like
we-
250 hours before they get to the end points. That'll be okay, right?
Yeah, but you still have to get in.
Right? Yeah.
Have we looked into the resale value of a Final Fantasy 14 copy?
No, I have not. And that's also not ethical, nor is it legal.
Yeah, against terms of service, man.
TOS, man, you hit accept. You gotta face the consequences, man.
Guys, those are guidelines. They're not rules.
Only if you're cool. Then the next bit of news I have is Splintercell is getting a remake of the original game, the original Splintercell. It'll actually be made by the same studio that made Far Cry 6, Ubisoft Toronto. And also because it's a remake versus a remaster, things can be changed and be fixed, kind of like how they did with Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's a little bit different. They don't have to do the exact same thing. They can change some things. They can fix some things. So we'll see how the development goes. They're still in the very early stages of it. But I'm kind of excited because he's been out of the spotlight. I think the last game that he had was from 2013, if I remember correctly. I think that was like Splinter Cell Blacklight, if I remember correctly. I probably don't. I'm terrible with names.
It's okay.
It's okay. But you know what I'm not terrible with? Assassin's Creed. And Assassin's Creed got a whole bunch of news this week.
I can't believe what they're doing.
They're doing a crossover mission with Valhalla and Odyssey, 2 different games they're going to do crossover missions with, and they're completely free.
At first, I thought this meant that play this special story on the latest Assassin's Creed Valhalla game, and you'll get this special cameo from the Odyssey character. And then I was like, no. You get half of the story if you play it on 2020's Valhalla, and the other half on 2016's Assassin's Creed Odyssey, game that I have long deleted from my PlayStation.
I'm not gonna play a whole game for a patch, but I will watch you when you play.
Yeah,
yours.
you know I am. I played every ounce of DLC for Assassin's Creed Odyssey, so the fact that there's more. Do you know how much I played of that game? I felt like I was done. That's my bad for ever thinking that game would be done.
You played so much of it. You played all of it, including just the walking around historical part of it.
Yep, sure did.
Just because it was a part of it.
Yep. And now I'm going back. I'm downloading 2 hours of this game to play like a 20-minute little story mission.
Because you need it.
Get the whole mission.
You should stream it so that the listeners who also don't want to download Odyssey can still experience this with us.
But it's going to be so worth it because Cassandra is one of the best Assassin's Creed characters, period. It's like her and Ezio to me are the best. And
I really like Eivor, but Ezio's pretty good.
Eivor's up there for me too. But Eivor's not done yet.
That's
but
true.
For Cassandra and Ezio, they are legacy, and Cassandra is, spoiler alert, they're crossing over because Cassandra achieved immortality by the end of Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Whoa.
So it's a great way to bring her into these different games. Yeah, man, if you're going to play Assassin's Creed Valhalla, you will find out.
And they also announced the new DLC, which is supposed to be, I think it's 40 hours, and it's
Yeah.
Is it Ragnarok or something?
It's going to be, it's called Dawn of Ragnarok, and that's specifically for Valhalla, and that comes out in March. And it's dealing with the whole Asgard aspect of it.
The end of the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
the
do
whole
I have to
other
play
world.
as Odin? I hate that guy.
I don't like him either.
Oh, I hope not.
I hope not.
Ugh.
Don't we all just wish he could go into his like forever sleep again?
Yeah,
you know?
just sleep.
yeah.
Go away.
I'd rather
They
play
all
as
got in sleep.
Eivor than Odin.
But yeah, so and then the crossover missions actually came out this week. So if you have it, play it this week. It's out. You might as well play it. That's why Troy's doing. He's already
Yeah.
playing it right now. I don't even know why I'm just talking to
Quiet,
nothing.
Brian. Shh, busy.
It's a good thing that one game takes forever to download. And then another bit of news: PlayStation 5. We also talked about how they finally got the patents for having the side covers.
Yeah.
We
Yep.
were hoping something would come out of it. Well, of course something came out of it because it's Sony and they saw money. So they're finally coming out with different colors that you can put onto your PS5 if you're lucky enough to have one, called the Galaxy Collection. And so it's a collection of different colors for the sides, and the same colors they also are having for controllers as well. So and I think they're going to be selling them in bundles as well, those types of things.
I think that they're officially called console cases or console covers.
Yeah, something like that.
I believe so. Yeah, the red one is my favorite so far. I don't remember what they call it because it's one of those like rich people crayon box color.
It is.
Yeah.
Nebula red or something. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. But the red one has been my favorite so far. So if I have to get any one of them, it's probably going to be the red.
Yeah, none of them really like wowed me. Because I was looking at them, I was like, I mean, they're cool colors. They're definitely interesting looking shades of colors, but none of them like shouted out at me like, "You must have this one."
Well, that blue one. The controllers are what I'm really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
looking at.
more on board with the controllers than I am the console colors. Although they did come out with black. So if you bought a PS5
Correct.
and you were like, "Oh my god, having a white console is the bane of my existence," they did hear you and they're like, "Well, here's the black covers, so you can kind of fade into the recesses of the darkness of your cabinet."
Like you on the couch, just fade into the
Whoa.
recesses of it. Yeah, the black one. I mean, it's black. I mean, it is what it is. And then the last bit of news is Nintendo had a Nintendo Indies little section, right?
Yeah, it was cool. I'm just going to talk about a couple games I saw that I think we would really enjoy. There's a point-and-click adventure they announced called Locomotive, which is a point-and-click murder mystery. It takes place on a train. It's just basically Murder on the Orient Express, the 60-bit game. But you play as 3 different types of detectives, like a policeman, like a rookie detective, and like a spy lady. And they're also suspects of each other. So you're playing these 3 people trying to figure out the puzzle, but also trying to figure out the suspect. But you could be the murderer for all you know. Sounds really interesting.
Is the DLC Perot?
It's something close to that.
You got a little man with
Little-
a trench coat and he's got
does
like
have a
a really
mustache.
long mustache.
Yeah.
He's actually called Atlas instead of Hercule.
Oh. It's good. It's good.
There was another game called Dungeon Munchies, which is about you like doing like a dungeon crawler, except what you fight, you can like take their parts as food and then go back to your base and cook them to get like make like actual dishes to get buffs and stuff to go back into the dungeon, which just sounds like a perfect game if you live next to a bong shop.
I was going to say, is the dungeon inside of Bongs R Us?
Oh, we got a theme this week.
I got those dungeon munchies, you know? And then their kind of their big thing they showed was the announcement of River City Girls 2, which is a really, really popular beat-em-up game from a few years ago that has a really big cult following. And just beyond
great
cult.
game.
Yeah, and it's a great game. You all played that.
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
So they're coming out with a sequel to that, which looks pretty awesome. With stuff to do
I mean,
with the
it's a
co-op.
beat 'em up. It's especially with what they're already working off of. It'll be very difficult to mess it up.
Good.
You know, even
That's
if
good to
it's
hear.
just more of the same, that's great. It's more of the same. I'm cool with that.
Nice. They announced like about 10 or 15 other games. Go and check it out. But those were kind of the 3 highlights that I was like, keep my eye on those because I'm interested.
Agreed. All right. Well, that will do it for our news. And now let's go on to our little tasty topic. And our tasty topic this week is the Game Awards.
Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.
That's right. And we actually all got together in person, except for Hassel.
Wow, way to rub it in, Brian.
Well,
But
hey, he
Hassel,
was
Yeah,
there.
way to
he
throw
was on
me-
Discord, though.
That's true.
He was on Discord.
Way to throw me under the bus, man.
Well, I mean, listen, you would have been there if you were down here, all right? Or if we were up there. We definitely would have been together.
That's very true, yeah.
So yeah, we all watched it together. We got some pizzas, we got some food, and sat down and ate it and watched it. And the Game Awards was the Game Awards. Like it was
a delightful experience.
It was.
It's as you mentioned, it's mostly about trying to see new trailers for new content coming out, in the next year or so, but also honoring the games from this year. So it's always a little awkward because it's one hand reflecting on the year, on the other hand looking at next year. So it doesn't feel like it's doing either. It's trying to do both. So it's always a little awkward, but still, it's a fun time to kind of celebrate video games. Did you all have any highlights?
So all of my highlights are world premieres and not awards, but
Fair.
I thought Thirsty Suitors was a highlight.
That was great.
That like just insane.
Oh, with the Indian mom, right?
Yeah, and it's just like that. I have no idea what the game's about, but I'm 1,000% on board with the jazzy style that it's got.
Oh, absolutely.
It looks insane, like this action-packed adventure, and with the name Thirsty Suitors, it seems like a dating sim, but you're also fighting, and it's like
a little Scott Pilgrim, I think we mentioned.
Yeah.
You're like fighting your exes or something like that. I don't know. Being a person who has an Indian mom, when I saw her pop up on screen cooking, I was like, oh, "That's my mama!
Yeah,
I want this."
One of my highlights actually was that first 30 minutes that the presenter, I don't remember her name,
Sydney Goodman.
Sydney Goodman, yeah, she was great. I actually really enjoyed her energy that she brought. I enjoyed even when she flubbed up. She was still owning it, and she was still just going on with it because
it's live.
Yeah, it's live, and she didn't like let it get to her. It actually was a very refreshing way of hosting it that I enjoyed, and I love the shoulder pads.
Man and I used to watch brilliant shoulder pads. Bring them back.
Bring them back.
Man and I used to watch her. She used to do the daily fix on IGN and to like get our news, and it's always just like a quick to the point, keep it pleasant and keep it simple.
She said her catchphrase. She was like, "Roll the thing,"
Roll
and we
the
were
thing.
like, "Wow, she said that thing."
But yeah, no, I thought she was delightful. I actually really enjoyed the first 30 minutes. And when she went away, I was like, oh, come back for one other thing. Just one more thing.
I think my biggest thing from the game, oh man, I'm going to be a bummer. I just felt really awkward watching it a little bit.
Okay.
How so?
I don't know. I think it's just, it is a tiny little bit of cringe. Especially with the whole like Activision Blizzard thing happening and like, everything with like Jeff Keighley.
Yeah, I remember him. He came out like really early on because actually a few days before Game Awards came out, a news article, I think Kotaku asked him about it. And they were like, so are you going to address all of the horrible allegations that are happening at Activision Blizzard? And he, at that point, was like, hey, like, no, we're not going to like take sides or bring it up. Like, we're just here for the awards for the games. And he got a lot of flack by people being like, hey, not saying something is saying something.
Yeah.
Right. So when we got to the awards, he did do a right up front. As soon as he came on stage, he had a speech about like reducing all types of negativity, bullying, harassment of all kinds. He didn't point out Activision Blizzard by name, but talking about harassment across the board from Twitch to even like, I think he even yelled like, and game companies, because I don't think legally he's allowed to say Activision Blizzard.
Right.
Correct. But like everyone was like, we know what you're talking
But
about.
also just singling them out isn't enough. It's not like it's just Blizzard.
Ubisoft
Right? So, like,
is there.
So, right.
Yeah,
there's-
even Bungie's there.
Right,
Like,
and that's the problem, though, is that, like, even if he had said there's one company, it is just singling out one. Like, they're the only problem. And it's like, no, the whole industry. So I was actually kind of, to a degree, I'm glad he said something, because I was a little in the same boat that Estelle was in, where it was like, I understand why you kind of can't, but, like, it's kind of important, dude, to point out, we know that there's stuff we got to fix in this community. And if this is the biggest night for games...
I do think that everyone can be doing more. Like at the end of the day, they made like a forum for anti-bullying, and I'm not down on the fact that they did something, and it was like that's amazing. But like, if anything's gonna change, everybody is gonna have to do more. And just saying like we don't like bad people who do bad things is like, well, that's great. But what are you actually gonna do?
Yeah, I'm exactly with Amanda on this one. I think yes, say something that's nice, but then all right, after the awards, what are we actually doing? They did put a link to something. It was more of a generic.
I think it was like a hotline that you can call in.
But
for
like,
anti-bullying.
anti-bullying,
yeah.
And but like, hey, let's see the Game Awards anti-harassment fund or something.
Yeah. What are you going to do for the people who, felt unsafe at work or
because it's hard to celebrate these companies when we know that they are not doing things that are the greatest. It's doing more harm to do so in some cases.
Right. Aside from that, this is my second year watching the Game Awards, like full on through, like not necessarily reading about it the next day. And it there's just something about those times where like there's dead space or dead silence on it that I'm like, please someone talk. Please someone say something.
What gets me kind of like, what's going on is for the people that are actually at the Game Awards watching the trailers. We're at home. We're watching trailers on the TV. It's all good. But the idea of being in the actual
audience
and then just watching like a half hour straight of trailers where nobody's on screen, where I'm just like, I could have done this at home.
One of the presenters even said that, and he was a presenter. I was like, why aren't I at
Shang-Chi,
home?
right?
Yeah.
Simu Liu?
Yeah, Simu Liu.
He came on with a bit that was totally just like, I could be playing Halo right now, but I'm here. I could be ranking up, but I'm here. I'm looking at my phone, watching other people play this game that I wish I was playing, but I'm here.
Yeah, it was.
I'm presenting.
And that was one of those things that started out a little cringy because you're like, all right, I don't think this is a landing. And then like as it got to the end, he brought it around.
Yeah.
Like, all right, this landed. All right, I'm glad that this wasn't just an awkward like out in the ether thing. This
committed to the bit.
Yeah, this committed to the bit, and by you committing to it, it actually worked.
See, that landed by the end of it, but I'm not sure the Jim Carrey bit before things landed for me. I don't know about you guys. That was one of the ones that was cringy for me because I was like, I don't understand.
It was cringy in the way that like Jim Carrey's just that. I don't know. It was very Jim Carrey to me. So he gets a pass. Like it wasn't cringy because I'm just like, that's just Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey on a screen.
It was also a pre-recorded thing. So it's not like you were seeing like, he wasn't like there in person and you didn't have like, he's doing it to a camera. And
one company that did get it though was Bethesda, and then being like, we don't have anything to show, so there's just going to be us talking about a game that we're kind of making while giving away thousands of free game codes.
God, yeah.
Play one of the things we've already done, and they made like a very like on the nose a Skyrim joke. It's like because we can't release Skyrim to anything else. We're totally going to release more Skyrim.
The amount of codes that was flashing on that
just
screen,
scrolling up nonstop.
It was just one of those like, oh my God, that literally is thousands of codes. It's probably just all Skyrim. Like, let's be honest. It's probably just all Skyrim. People are trying to like redeem them, and it's like, you already own this. Well, yeah, I know. Everybody owns this.
Some cool awards that surprised me. Maggie Robertson winning Best Performance.
Oh, yeah.
She's the tall lady from Resident Evil. She did the voice. I haven't played that game, but I hear she's absolutely brilliant in that. And I actually love the fact that she beat out Giancarlo Esposito, who is like this beacon of acting in the community. And then she comes out just like,
just in acting. Just in acting.
Yeah, and he was there.
He was there.
I had to see that man go, oh, I didn't win this.
He's like, yeah, I'll show up to this. I want to be on stage. I'm Giancarlo Esposito. Why am I still sitting in the audience? I'm Giancarlo Esposito.
And I'm like, yo, don't underestimate Resident Evil. You know, they bring some high quality stuff.
Don't underestimate the tall lady.
Don't. She'll come for you.
And I loved how she was that tall
in
real life.
Tall.
Like, that was amazing.
Life is Strange: True Colors. We talked about it earlier in the pod just now. It won for best game for impact, and I definitely agree with that. Like I said, it had me all in the feels. I am still shook by the ending of that game in a way that I feel betrayed. It's like, how could you? How could you do this to me?
I thought we were friends.
I'm so sorry I can't talk about it on the podcast, but I will let you all know after this what happened to me.
We'll hear your true colors or your true feelings.
Yeah, you're seeing just a red aura of anger above me right now. Forza Horizon 5 took home 2 awards, Joe, for audio design and innovation and accessibility, which is a huge one. They showed a video of someone actually signing in that game.
Yep.
Has that ever been done in a video game before? I don't know.
Not to that extent. I don't believe so.
Not to that extent, yeah.
Yeah, there has to have been somebody. But for such a big game to make sure that was something that was included.
That's
pretty
incredible.
Awesome.
That's
pretty
incredible.
great.
I
still
love-
agree. It should have won more awards, Joe, but
That's okay. It's all right. You
look,
know,
I'm with you on that.
I was happy.
I
It
love
was
this
cool.
huge like push that games and like ultimately just media has had recently for like accessibility options for everybody, which I think is absolutely amazing. Like not going very far, like like Hawkeye. Spoiler alert: if you haven't seen the first couple of episodes, there is a character who signs all of her lines.
Yep.
Yeah.
Also,
And it's
Hawkeye,
good.
spoiler alert, she's been an awesome character in comics for like 14 years.
Yeah.
So like read a comic, she's great.
And the actress is also deaf.
Yep. Yeah, she is.
On another exciting note, I actually didn't intend to do this, but I mentioned spiders earlier in this podcast, and we got
Amanda.
some spiders news
We
at the
did?
Game Awards. They announced the next game they'll be making, which is called Steel Rising, and it is insane looking. You're like this like neo-future Victorian porcelain doll assassin
Yes.
that fights clockwork
Yes.
dogs in like a future France. It looks so cool.
Amanda has been preaching the good word of spiders for many years. I've watched from afar. I've been a casual watcher, whatever, viewer, voyeur to her playing these B games, as you mentioned, Bound by Flame, Technomancer. And then I finally played Greedfall this year, and it's one of my favorite games I've played this year. It's so good. It has made me a Spiders fan. Like, once that they popped up on the screen, like, I was okay with the game.
Yeah.
When I saw it was being made from spiders, I was like,
Yeah, both of you guys are like, oh wait, that was spiders? Oh no, okay. Before,
Sign me
especially
up.
because the name Steel Rising is such a generic name.
that's their thing.
I know. It's just one of those like that's so generic. Oh man.
but
The
then
game does not look
but-
generic
yeah.
though. Like
No,
it
it
looks
doesn't.
very different than anything I've
They
seen.
have like B movie titles, but then the games are so out there that it's
and to be very respectful of this
generic
studio
about it.
is I'm using the term B studio, but what I really mean is that they are making games that in my mind are akin to like some AAA studios, but there's only I think like 30 people working there. So
Yeah.
no, if you jump in, it's not going to be the next Mass Effect. But to be honest, what they're doing with the people that they have is amazing.
Amazing.
Agreed. One of the cool things also I thought was Xbox finally catching up to what I've been calling Xbox Game Pass for PC. I've been calling it PC Game Pass since I think I very first got it. You could probably go back to the first 10 episodes. I've been calling it
Yeah.
PC Game Pass this entire time. They finally caught up to me and they changed the name to PC Game Pass.
Brian. I think they owe you money.
They do. I mean, everybody listens to this.
Listen, even if
So-
you get
Yeah.
0.00001% of whatever they made for one day, you'd be fine.
Oh,
You'd
I'd be fine.
You'd
Oh,
be
yeah,
fine.
yeah.
You'd be set for life.
This podcast would have so much advertising. Listen, I was right.
All right, I got a little bit of salt to throw before we move on.
Hang
And
on a
it's
second.
going to be at
I have one more positive from it before we start throwing
Okay.
salt, because I will throw some salt with you.
Okay.
We're getting another Star Wars narrative game.
We are.
I can't believe it.
Yeah, Star Wars Drum Simulator.
Star Wars
There
Drum
were
Simulator.
so many drums. I've been really waiting on that Star Wars Blue Man Group crossover.
Right, yeah.
I'm so happy it's finally happening.
Star Wars Drum Master. That's what it is.
Yeah. I heard the drums from the Donkey Kong Wii game. You can definitely use for this
Donkey
game
Kong
too.
peripherals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that when you saw that trailer, it was going to be like an RPG, like a KOTOR type game, or even the sequel to Fallen Order, which
Yeah.
we liked. But then when it busted out at the very end, being made by Quantic Dreams, which is the makers of Detroit and Heavy Rain,
Yeah.
these like really tough
Choice-driven.
choice-driven adventures that have no, like, you're not playing a character like walking them through a street all the time. It's just like movies.
Yeah.
They're movies that you get to interact with. The idea of getting that in a game and having like that kind of high-quality cinematic universe with Star Wars sounds really fun.
Agreed.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
All right, so let's get to the salt. What do you got for the salt?
Deathloop done robbed some of these categories.
Yeah, Deathloop was fine, but it won like best art direction, and I just
No.
I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling it.
Up against Psychonauts,
Psychonauts.
and like the
Kenna?
Art Escape, and I think Kenna was in there too.
Like,
I feel like Deathloop was the Marissa Tomei of this year, all right? Where I think everything else just split the vote so much that the people who voted for Deathloop just made it win all of its categories.
And we do want to point out, though, podcast was we like Deathloop.
Oh, yeah.
We think that game's amazing. We think the narrative's amazing.
Definitely
the
should have
art
won an
is
award or two.
Gorgeous. And the idea is cool. Everything about the mechanic is neat. It just was difficult as a person who thinks art is subjective. It was difficult to see that win against some of the other pieces of art there that I myself loved.
It left a bad taste in my mouth because when they first announced Deathloop, they did it by over-advertising it.
Yeah.
And then the game came out, and the game was like, it was okay. I mean, it was a good game.
Good game.
We enjoyed the game.
It
and
is
then
a good game.
And then it comes to the Game Awards, and then it wins more awards. It's like the whole industry is like, you really love this, don't you? And I was like, no, not really. And they're like, no, you should really like this.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel like great.
Before this game came out, I had a bad taste in my mouth because of the advertising. Then I played it, and honestly, it's in contention to be one of my top 10 favorite games of the year. Not towards the top, but maybe towards, still, it could be there. And I was like, good, I have a great taste. And now the back end is I have like this aftertaste, which is like bitter and not good. I'm like, just let me like your game. Like, stop messing this up for me. I'm trying to like you, Deathloop. I really am. But no, you should not win art direction. It's a stylish game. If it was maybe best style, or sure. But I just can't understand that winning over the other entries in there.
But we did have some good news for Game of the Year, though.
Amazing news that we were all hoping for. And I'm pretty sure the journalists who voted for this were also hoping for.
We were on the edge of our seats because Deathloop was winning categories it shouldn't have. And there's a lot of other games in there. Resident Evil, Psychonauts was also up there.
Yep.
Some other games.
Some other really good, really awesome
amazing games. Yes.
Amazing games, I swear. But we were like, Deathloop's gonna win because it's a AAA game, and then whatever. And Joe and Brian wanted It Takes Two, Man and I wanted Psychonauts, and we're just like, it's not gonna happen. It's fine. And then they said the words, y'all.
They said the three words we all wanted. Or I'm sorry, Joe and I definitely wanted to hear, but everybody else also wanted to hear.
I wanted to hear it too.
I was the tiebreaker. I was like, It Takes Two, baby, let's do it.
And those were the three words we heard was It Takes Two.
And we genuinely shouted in
Yeah.
the living room. We're like,
Out of our seats.
It was like a Super Bowl. It was like, it really was.
The team we wanted to win.
Overtime.
Yeah.
And we were like,
Got the final field goal.
Our good friend, one of the directors, he
Joseph
cursed.
Fares.
He said some weird he said some weird stuff. It was perfect.
You just pulled the Joseph Fares.
Yeah,
you did. And that's exactly what I think everybody there wanted.
Yeah.
It was like
He dropped two F-bombs referencing the previous F-bombs he dropped.
Yes, he did.
On the
45 seconds of him talking.
Joseph Fares, former Dragon of the Week.
That's right. That's right. Showed up in a t-shirt and jeans.
Yeah.
Just brilliant. Talked about his kids and how they're fun. Everyone should have
Everybody
some.
should have some. Yeah.
If you don't have some, go get some.
Yeah.
They're lots of fun. Just fantastic. I couldn't think of a more genuine, heartwarming way to end that evening than to have that game win, which is not a big AAA game. It's just
It's an indie, and they genuinely deserved it. It was a really wonderful game and
innovative.
Imagine the fun of that game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Brought people together, brought us together. We had a whole weekend event planned around that game.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we did.
The six of us.
Yeah,
Which is what pushed it over the edge.
it didn't.
It takes six.
Surprisingly, it didn't split any one of us apart.
No,
It didn't.
It's
No.
true.
Yeah,
That's true.
which is a feat on its own. I have a question for y'all. If you had to take all of those games that we were preview to during the Game Awards, because they have this. I don't want to call it dumb, but I mean, most anticipated game is a pretty dumb award.
Oh, yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
What is your most anticipated game?
Horizon, The Forbidden West.
Same. Yeah.
I
I'm
want to
forward
see
it.
Aloy shooting down robot dinosaurs.
Just more of the
Yes,
same
please.
is what I want. I'm
But
fine with
underwater.
it. Yes.
you mean that was actually in the category, or what I
Just
actually
whatever.
won?
No,
'Cause
what you actually won.
obviously the next Dragon Age game, but realistically, since that probably won't be coming out for a few years, then probably the Horizons.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Love it.
Joe
I'm
doesn't
having
know.
an existential crisis as usual.
Joe shifting eyes back
I'm
and
just
forth.
I can't. Okay, so if that Mario Rabbids game is not coming out next year,
Ooh.
that's not it. But I'm really excited about Elden Ring, but that's probably not it. It's probably just Pokemon Arceus.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's the thing, because I'm really excited about you guys playing Horizon so that I can watch you guys play it.
Yeah.
But I think it's Pokemon Arceus. I think
Yeah.
because it's stylistically just, I love that. And
Yeah.
if Breath of the Wild's not coming out next year, or Breath of the Wild 2,
Oh, it definitely isn't.
it's not coming out next year. But if that was coming out next year, that would probably be it. As always, I'm having an existential crisis.
I'm excited to see the first Fable trailer.
Yes.
Before they redo it.
Right. In like
Yeah.
7
Start from
years.
the beginning?
Yeah, it's
Now,
gonna be
what's
great.
your most anticipated trailer of 2022?
Oh.
Let's go.
New award for Game Awards.
Yeah. But what about
yeah.
you, Hassel? What's your most anticipated?
Mine has to be the Hogwarts Legacy.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
that going to come out next year?
It's supposed to come out this year. They just haven't set a release date for it.
Okay.
But yeah,
I think they also just came up with new details where I think it's going to be actual multiplayer as well
Yeah.
in that game.
Ooh.
It's a battle royale.
You know what? If the ending of that game is Battle of Hogwarts, it could be.
it's the next season of Fortnite.
Yeah. I was just thinking Fortnite, but it's just everybody on brooms and like.
Yeah.
That's not far off from where Fortnite is right now.
Right.
All right.
No, it's just Quidditch with guns.
All right.
The release date is officially 2022.
All right.
Like, no month, no quarter, so that's
We'll
usually
call
very
that-
flexible. Yeah.
We'll call that a soft 22.
Yeah.
A soft one too.
But yeah, Game Awards was pretty good. I had a delightful time. The music was also pretty good. I think like
Oh.
Sting,
Oh, God, yeah.
Sting showed up, which was like, what? Sting? Hey, man.
But it's funny because they're playing games or they're playing music from a TV show based on a video game.
I was more into Arcane being referenced in
Yeah.
this Game Awards
Yeah.
than anything else. I cheered so loud for League of Legends and I don't even care about that game.
Yeah.
Now that that's happening more often, I would be interested in a video game award that's like best video game adapted to a television show.
Wow.
Or even just other medium.
Oh,
I would
yeah,
see
other
just
media.
video game
There's
adaptation.
probably enough.
Like
Yeah.
TV series and
yeah.
movies,
At
they're
this
more
point.
successful now than
Or
they
even
used to
books,
be, yeah.
comic books, all those
Sure.
sorts
Yeah.
of things. Yeah. I like that.
sure.
I like that. That is a great, because Jeff Keighley's listening to this. Jeff Keighley,
Absolutely.
you need to put that in there.
Hey, Jeffy boy.
Hey, Jiffy
Put
boy.
that in there. Jeff, best adaptation.
No, stop talking to Imagine Dragons for a sec. Listen to us.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Like, it's funny you bring up Imagine Dragons. So just before the Game Awards had started, they had stated that Imagine Dragons would be doing,
Yeah.
and we all had the conversation about how like we don't know why, but everybody dislikes them, says they dislike them, but don't have a problem really with their music because the music's really not that bad. And then when they came on and they were singing their song, seeing Twitter and then seeing all of our friends outside of the podcast saying exactly what we were saying beforehand, like, why does everyone dislike these guys?
Yeah.
I think I thought about it over this
Okay.
past
Okay,
week. And
all right.
Hassel, as I think you are a publicly noted Imagine Dragons fan or non-fan.
I will end this call right now.
We already got
You
most
are-
of the podcast.
You
Too
are
late.
established anti-Imagine Dragons. Okay,
Right, yes.
Wow.
I'm going to ask you if this is why. Now, Radioactive is an overplayed song.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
it's just played a lot. We heard it a bunch. So is it that every time you hear an Imagine Dragons song, it kind of reminds you of Radioactive? So you're instantly like, ugh, I heard this 1,000 times and I'm over it. Therefore, I don't like anything they do.
No, it's the fact that every song is in the same range as Radioactive.
Yes.
So
Okay,
like
so it reminds
all,
you of Radioactive.
No, all the songs sound the same. So like
Okay.
technically yeah, but like they all right, at least
they
to
sound
me.
the
Let me
same
let
and
me
they're
let me go ahead and say like myself, like herself.
Yes.
To me all of them sound the same. And it might be
Yeah,
that
'cause-
to some other people like they sound different. Like, you know, just as an example, like Genevieve will bring 3 candles up to me and she's like, "Hey, you smell these?" And I'm like, "They all smell the same."
Yeah.
Smells
She's
like candle.
Yeah, and she's like, "One of them is eucalyptus," and I'm like, "I don't know what that means." It smells the same.
That's a very strong smell.
Yeah, I'm sorry. To me, like all Imagine Dragons song are the same. Their
he
album
has
could
a-
be just one continuous like.
I can't say
Yeah.
that I've listened to a full album, so I don't even have any right to really get into it. But they do have that "Follow Me" song that's out this year, and it's catchy as hell. I don't feel like it sounds
Yeah.
like those other songs. It's melodic.
I think we were all collectively more excited for Darren Korb and Ashley Barrett
Yes.
than
Yes.
we were
Oh,
for
yes.
Imagine
That shit-
Dragons,
yes.
but I thought they were fine.
The
I
thing
was like-
is that he has a very unique sound. His voice is very unique, for me at least, from a lot of other bands that are out there. So when you hear his voice, it's like, well, this is an Imagine Dragons song. Like,
Right.
it's obviously a Imagine Dragons
Yeah,
song.
but like you watch Arcane and you see their song and it's perfect. I would not replace it with anything. That scene of them.
In context with Arcane magic.
Okay, so I just put two and two
Magic.
together. Guys, I processed it.
Yeah.
The reason why I don't like Imagine Dragons is because they sound like the kind of band that my mom got into when I was into like really hardcore metal. To see like, look, I listen to the same stuff that you listen to. And I'm like,
I'm listening to the metal too.
yeah. And
So Imagine Dragons is like the sellout metal band. Like they're the ones that want to be
The
more
lame-
pop, like
the
the
lame
lame
metal?
one that nobody wants.
they're
or-
the kind of band that your dad listens to when he's mowing the lawn. If that makes any
I
sense.
don't even I have no correlation with
weird.
that. I can't.
I have problems with so many of these things.
That's so specific, Estelle, but you're not wrong. I can't find fault with that.
It's
with that
dad metal.
statement.
Funny enough, I was
See,
gonna.
it's so wrong for me. My dad only listened to records of Italian opera and like old symphonies. So now I'm thinking like, if my dad was listening to Imagine
Imagine
Dragons.
Dragons.
Your dad is
Yeah.
very specific, Joe. I mean,
Right, that's why I said I can't. I have
Yeah.
literally no correlation for how I can think about that. But that is a phrase, and I appreciate you.
Now should be the
That
time
is
to
a
tell the
phrase.
listeners that we actually have Imagine Dragons to play us out during the show.
And come on out.
The dragons and stuff.
Taste of Dragons Gaming Podcast.
no, I would never replace Rhythm Bastard.
No, a taste of a dragon.
No.
I really like Rhythm Master's song. I would definitely have the Imagine Dragons do our theme song.
Oh, have them
Well,
do an interpretation of it. Yes.
To cover our theme song
Yeah.
by Rhythm Bastard. Yes, that would be
Yeah,
fun.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I will co-sign that. Yes.
Yep. If
We
you're
allow you.
if
Imagine
you're an
Dragons.
agent of Imagine Dragons and you would like to cover our theme song, please reach out to Hassel
we have-
MV at witcher.tech.
We have some synergy here, like some dragons and then
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
We do have
Boom.
dragons.
Imagine Taste of Dragons.
Imagine the
podcast.
taste of dragons. Imagine
Boom.
how dragons taste.
Oh, no, don't do that. Don't do that. They're
I'm on board.
Yeah.
Dragon meatball sandwich.
Yeah.
Man, that went way off the rails, huh?
I mean, that's
Sorry
our
about that.
podcast. That's
I was curious about the Imagine Dragons thing. Anyway,
Right.
that was the Game Awards.
that was the Game Awards, everyone.
Had a good time.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We did. It was pretty good. It was pretty good. It was a good time. We got together. It was nice. We enjoyed it. So unfortunately, though, that brings us to the end of this week's episode.
Ba-bum, ba-bum.
Oh man, that's amazing. But you can always find us online.
Looking for more Taste of Dragons content? Check us out on Twitter, Instagram, Discord, or Twitch for more discussions, more video games, and most of all, more sandwiches. We are at Taste of Dragons everywhere, and we'd love to hear from you.
We absolutely would. And as always, my name is Brian.
My name is Troy.
Amanda,
I'm Hassel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are
the Taste of
Dragons.
Hey friends, you're still on board. Make sure to check out Still Loading Podcast, as I have a little guest feature on there. It's out right now too.
It is.
It was out
It is.
same day we're out.
Same day.
I talk all about Assassin's Creed 1.
Ooh. That's what I was going to ask him. Can we give it a taste? Is it Assassin's Creed 1?
Sure can.
Desmond, and
Just Desmond.
Altair?
Oh, Altair. Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
tell
yeah.
you. Yes.
Nice. Ladies and gentlemen, Imagine Dragons.
We're never going to live that down.
I'm not even a big fan. I'm just like, they're fine.
Taste of Dragons Gaming Podcast, a podcast for everyone's taste.